the BCMM network. The following broadcast is solely for the enjoyment and entertainment of our audience. This is the Blue Collar Minute Men Show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blue Collar Minutemen Show, where we're just a few guys who are trying to help make this country great again. And boy, oh boy, do we have some news that's been going on this week, don't we, Bill?
Yes, we do. That's the good thing about the only good thing about this administration is there's always something crazy to talk about.
I'll tell you what, we'll skip the pleasantries. Let's jump right into it. You know, folks, I think you just saw that whole Biden tweet there. Bill, man,
okay,
you better take that vaccine, buddy.
if you go back just a few years, not that many years ago, maybe 75 years, a little guy in Europe was running around saying, wear that star or don't come out of the ghetto. Right? So get that vax or don't come out of your house and keep that mask on. He says it's a choice. It's your choice. That's not a choice. That's an ultimatum. That's a dictator talking right there. That's a third world dictator.
And people have to see that. They have to see that. I have never seen anything like this. Wear your mask or take the vax.
Or take your vax or wear the mask until you do.
Right.
Yeah, that's horse malarkey.
Man, it blows my mind. I mean, here we are. This is May, and I don't know. I'm still not seeing people dead in the streets. Are you, Bill?
It's been over a year, and now
as bad as they're saying this mother trucker is right now. You know, you would think that there would be people just lining the streets everywhere if it was that bad.
Every Walmart employee would be dead by now. I'm serious. They stayed open to this whole thing, and that place was packed every day.
I know. And Bill, you said you had some numbers from the CDC, you know, state by state, because they're saying too that all these people, they're getting the vax. CNN's reporting they're getting the vax.
Okay. But what we heard on CNN was 4 out of every 5 Americans are being vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just look at the CDC numbers. And these numbers are good through Friday of last week.
So, Bill, let me throw this out there because, like I said, we looked this stuff up and we don't want to be let people think we're making this up. This is coming from the CDC's website that anyone can look up, correct?
Yes, correct. CDC, state by state vaccination percentages.
Okay.
Let's just jump right in with the good old bluegrass state of Kentucky. All right. Since we're lifting all the restrictions here very soon, what would you say the percentage is that we are vaccinated?
Well,
Kentucky.
I'm going
to go by what, must be very high if we're getting rid of all these restrictions.
Hang on a second. Okay, I'm a Democrat now. Man, we must be up over 50 or 60% by now because we're getting everybody vaccinated, Bill. But
true.
What is CDC saying? Let me put my Republican back on. Okay.
CDC is saying 35.89% of the population of Kentucky has been vaccinated. 35.89. Now, we checked this 2 weeks ago and we were at 32. There hasn't been too many in 2 weeks get vaccinated.
And I don't blame.
Let's look at the great state of Florida.
Okay.
Percentage of vaccinated personnel in Florida, 35.42. 35% people. Okay, I'm just going to go out here and tell you right now, state by state, every state, there is no state in the United States that is over 50% vaccinated. No one is even 50% vaccinated. The highest vaccination population percentage in the United States right now to date is Maine, and they have 48% vaccinated. Tennessee, our neighbor to the south, 29% vaccinated.
They're doing better than we are.
Georgia, 29%. Arkansas, 29%. Alabama, 27%. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on.
Well, Bill, by those numbers, and like I just said, about how bad this virus is, shouldn't those state populations be halfway gone by now if this was such a bad virus?
Yeah. We'd be out of room to bury people.
But Bill, the thing still remains is they came out with this thing so freaking quick. And, you know, I can't even keep up with each medical company and what their development that they've done with this thing. But they came up with this thing so quick and there's so many freaking side effects to it. Why would you want to take it when the survival rate is over 90% if you get it?
There was let me get this up here right quick. I'm looking over these numbers here. It's ridiculous.
But, you know, CNN is doing the same thing, just like with the whole election thing. They're padding the numbers and they're making it seem better than anything else.
Here's something else for you. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional, but it says here that the threshold, you know, the swab test they do, they started out, the threshold was at 45% of whatever it is that they're checking. They go in and they got it set at 45%. They say that being set up that high caused numerous false readings, false positives.
Oh.
Okay, now that they're saying their vaccine's working and all this stuff, this week it shows here, the CDC is showing the testing has been changed to 25%, which will show less false positives.
See.
Therefore, we have
Yeah.
less COVID because the vaccine's working.
Oh.
Although nobody's taking the daggone thing, it's actually working. We have less positive COVID tests. All that's right here on the CDC's website, people. I ain't making it up. I'm reading it right here off the screen as we're sitting here.
See, that's what happens when you have someone, and this is what I've been trying to teach my daughter about life. This is the exact lesson right here. When someone can manipulate the numbers to make everything look the way they want it to, it doesn't help anybody. And then you give a false lookout as to whatever your statistics you're trying to get. You give a false lookout of what it is, and your company could fail, go bankrupt, Enron, you know, all of that stuff. But this is insane and blows my ever-loving mind. And Bill, I'm gonna throw this out there too, since we're talking about all of this Vaxed and CDC stuff. What happened with Eric Clapton? It's not fun. I like Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton put out an open letter this weekend that says he took the COVID vaccine and his hands have gone numb. Can't play the guitar. And he's like wanting to know where all the rebels are because he's old and can't fight it, but he wishes he had not taken the vaccine.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. From Eric Clapton. We're not making this up. You know, still, I'm not going to say anything. It's your choice. If you want to take it, by all means, jump on
jump on it.
But that's what we have in this country is a right for choice. Choice.
Freedom to choose.
That's why everybody wants to come to this country, is because you have a right to choose. You have a right to have your own business, whether it succeeds or fails. You have a right to shop at Walmart or Kroger or Target. That's what makes this country great. Oh man. that still blows my mind. But I mean, all in all, with that, I think people are waking up, Bill. I really do.
I do too. I mean, the numbers are showing it. And they know it's not working, so
Right.
they're going to move on to something else. Gas. No.
I do feel sorry for those folks who are having these adverse reactions. I think we read in the week too that there was an overabundance or a jump in rise of Bell's palsy with this vaccine as well. It's like, holy crap, man. Oh. But anyway, it's your choice, people. But Bill, we're going to move on a little bit and talking about some other things that have come up. And this hat right here. Let's go back to this 2020 election a little bit. Lord, I'm praying something happens in that. And it looks like out in Arizona's done jumped on something that's bringing forth a lot of light.
Yeah. What we got here is the weekly briefing from the chairman is they have just uncovered mountains of irregularities and discrepancies and then, okay, we mentioned this last week.
Mm-hmm.
The board of electors, who are supposed to be the ones securing this election,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of all the votes, said, we don't have the passwords to the machines. Who does? Well, Dominion. Okay, so you're telling me all the secure machines that are supposed to be secured by this election commission
Mm-hmm.
can't be touched by the election commission, but some outside vendor who makes the machines can come and go as they want because they've got all the passwords.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
I'm joking.
what happened with that? 10 days. They've tracked it back now. 10 days before they handed over the machines, whoever had the passwords went in and deleted the entire 2020 database.
You know,
Now, if you got nothing to hide,
mm-hmm.
why hide it?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly. Folks, we're talking about those Dominion machines that Arizona was doing an audit on. Why? Bill, if they've got nothing to hide, why not just, here you go, we got nothing?
Why are they fighting so hard to stop this? They have got, the chairman there says this is good for Arizona because Democrats have come in there and spent over $20 million already on the local economy because they're all there with the lawyers and shit. And it's just a boom for Maricopa County, you know.
Well, that's good for them. But, you know, everybody thought this was a conspiracy theory. Everybody thought that this was a big lie, you know. And Bill, to mention it, you know, this mainstream media is still trying to push. Why are they doing this? The election's over with. They're just sore losers. They don't know. We all know the election was stolen.
Now, what does this bring us to? Remember we talked about the dominoes.
Yes.
What's next? What did we learn this week?
We learned that Wisconsin is going to be jumping on the audit with these Dominion machines.
Correct. That's domino number 2.
Wisconsin has come out and they have said officially that they will be doing their own audit of the 2020 election numbers, which I think is beautiful. I love it.
Love it.
But Bill, kind of go back to Arizona just for a second. I don't, with this Dominion and them deleting everything, you know, Arizona had already found enough to show that
the data's been deleted out of the machines to show where it all came from, but they still have the paper copies of everything. And that's what they're hand counting one at a time. And that's where they're finding all the discrepancies. They're finding, number one, there's more votes than there are people to vote. Number 2, there's ballots here with no name or address on them, just a ballot. You know, there's ballots that showed up postmarked after the election. There's all kinds of discrepancies. There's dead people. There's
well, Bill, we even mentioned it on the prior podcast as well, that the census finally came out about the number of eligible people who are able to vote.
And the number that voted was almost 200,000 more than what was eligible.
Yeah. I mean, folks, we can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's a tragic thing to know that this is going on in our country. But it is. I mean, it is. Well, I can't wait to see what Wisconsin finds out, because like you were saying, if Wisconsin, then, you know, we're talking about the swing states, you know, we're talking about, and Michigan included in this, and maybe even Pennsylvania. You think they're going to jump on board at some point? Or
Georgia?
Yeah, I forgot about Georgia.
I'd say it's going to be ping, 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 and dominoes are all going to fall. And then you're going to find out.
And I'm going to throw this out there again. Maybe 4th of July will be a good Independence Day.
But,
I can't say too much about that, folks. I'm sorry. I know I'm being cryptic about that, but it's just something we heard, but we can't really confirm. So
when we do confirm it, you'll be the first to know.
You will be the first to know. Well, you know, I think we need another little bit of a laugh here, Bill. And I say that because we all know what's been going on with Israel, and we all know that they've been bombed by Hamas, and Joe Biden has come out and, well, yeah, it's Israel's right to protect themselves. Yeah.
But I'm gonna give Hamas about $400,000 here and let them do what they want to with it.
Yeah.
Humanity. Oh no, it was 400 million. It was
400
for COVID
Oh.
relief. That's on that big daggone COVID bill that they passed. You know, where we got $1,400 and they got 400,000 or 400 million.
Yeah, that's why they had so many rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Bill, for those people who haven't been, you know, prior military or anything like that, they, you know, we don't want to talk bad about anybody, but it's just the fact of the matter is, you know, the people who Hamas are, their bulb doesn't shine very bright, I'll say. And what did Israel do to them this week?
Well, apparently, every time Israel would go over there to do something, they couldn't find anybody. Hamas would just disappear. So they infiltrated them, found out they were all going to these tunnels all over the place. So they marked the tunnels, I guess. And then they leaked to the press that they're having a big ground assault coming. They all ran to the tunnels. Ground assault didn't come, but they bombed those tunnels back to the Stone Age. Yeah.
Now I know you all might be thinking, "Oh, that's terrible," but no, that's just the way war is.
That's
It's
war.
cool. You know, they started it by firing missiles at the Israelis, and if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna try to jump in the ring with the big boys, you better be ready to play. But it's just kind of like, it reminds me of one of those Bugs Bunny cartoons or something like that, where you remember the one about Bugs Bunny where he was playing the piano, and I think Yosemite Sam had set the one key up to blow him up, and he kept skipping it. Oh
Hey,
man,
can you say that? Yosemite Sam?
I don't know.
I thought he was banned.
He might. They might kick us off for that because you know he's gun shooting,
Right.
shooting. Oh man, I've tried to watch the Israel thing. I really hope that their country, you know, doesn't take too much damage or loss of life. Of course, they've been fighting over there for thousands of years over that area, and it just hasn't stopped. But it's also funny, Bill. Trump was in office and they were at peace over there.
That wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, wasn't that long ago. And I think, you know, if anything, along with that and the other things Trump did that he should have gotten a Nobel Prize for and didn't, you know. But hey, welcome to the Biden administration. Get your mask at the door.
Get your mask at the door, people.
Oh man, where are we at on time there, Bill?
Running about 28.
Okay. We had another thing that came up too. Of course, everybody knows this whole COVID thing has just been one big mess after another. People have lost their jobs, help wanted signs everywhere. But you've got a president who's saying, take the vax or wear your mask forever. And some of these liberal, you know, business owners are starting to really kind of come down on their employees, Bill. And I think you've got some information on that on some of these. I guess it was a court case now.
Yes, there has now been a court case that has set a court precedent.
Now,
Yes.
before we go any further, Bill, let's just explain a little bit about what happens when something goes to court and it has set a precedent. That way people understand.
Okay, if, say for an example, somebody goes to court and they are, well, we use Miranda, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Went to court, ruled that you have to be, you know, the court ruled that your rights have to be given to you before you're arrested, whatever, you know, before you questioned, actually. And that's a precedent. Now, we have to do that. Until that gets overturned by the Supreme Court, which it never will, that's the law now. I mean, that's what we have to follow. That's a court precedent was set. That's what we have to follow. We have to follow those guidelines. The American Freedom, did I say Freedom Foundation? Okay, they are a group of attorneys who are a nonprofit organization. Took the first case of an employer trying to force his employees to get the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? They won in federal court. There is now a court precedent that says employers cannot force you to take the vaccine. Ta-da!
That's a big win. And that was in federal court, correct?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that means that if you have an employer or employer who wants to know if you took it and says you can't work there if you don't take it, who do they need to call, Bill?
American Freedom Foundation.
American.
They're listed on the internet. Just type it in, you'll go straight to the webpage. They said contact them, they'll represent you. The precedent already set, it won't go to court because there's already a court precedent.
Absolutely. I love it.
Ding-ding.
That is a win.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that with everything that's been in place prior, it's stupid that we even have to deal with this. Because there are things that the Constitution says that you're different rights you're allowed to have and your freedoms that are already lined out for us, but yet and still we still have to fight this junk.
Right. How about a loss? Let's throw out a loss we had this week. The loss was President Trump had made an executive order to create what was known as the Garden of Heroes. It's supposed to have been a little park that had statues representing all races, all creeds, everything that contributed to making America great from founding to now. Joe Biden signed an executive order Friday doing away with that executive order. So we don't have any room for hero gardens. So that was a loss.
That really ticks me off. I mean, it really does. Like I said, I'm a history person and I love history. And let's face it, from the dawn of time, history is full of wars and different things like that. Whether it was the Romans, it was Napoleon, it was, lost my train of thought on that one, but I forgot the other one. But all of that's history. There was good and bad in all of it, but it was still history. And for us to want to have something for those people who helped build this country, that just shows our appreciation for what they did, because it wasn't easy, whether they were Hispanic, Black, Irish, Scottish, German, English,
Japanese,
Jamaican, that's the people that made up this country, and they all contributed. And Joe Biden's just wanting to kind of, pardon my French, but piss on all of it, and you ain't getting it. Really makes me mad.
Now,
yeah,
this really gets your blood boiling.
Yeah, it does. But it also makes me think too that they're still trying to dumb down our children with not letting them understand what actually has gone on, which also makes me mad about that too. That brings up something I wanted to discuss on the podcast, was what happened to me this week when you're talking about younger people. Ran into a millennial. Gosh, bless their hearts. I'm telling you, when I get to be 80 years old, I'm probably just going to roll off a cliff because I ain't going to want to be here no more. Bill, let me ask you something. Do you know how to push a car off the road?
Yeah.
I think I've said this before. My mother, when I was a kid, had a 1978 Mercury, which stopped on us while we were driving. And my mother, being the woman she was not going to let the vehicle sit in the roadway. She was going to push it off the road so traffic could keep going. And of course, a nice person stopped and helped her push the car off the road. So this past week, ran into this millennial whose Jeep had stopped. Now, it wasn't a big Jeep. It was a Jeep Wrangler 2-door, had some big tires on it, stopped in the middle of a 6-lane roadway. I show up, I get there. Hey man, we need to get this out of the roadway. It's like, yeah, okay. It's like, I said, do you want a tow truck? No. It's like, can we just push it off the road? I said, yeah, that's fine. First, he wanted me to take the bumper of my car and push him. I'm like, nope, ain't doing that. It's not how this works. So then I said, well, let's push it over there in the parking lot. Bill, I'm telling you, the distance he was from the side parking lot was literally only about, wasn't even really 100 feet to get over there and turn in. So I said, hey, bud, let's just push this off the roadway. He goes, all right. He shuts the door on the Jeep, comes around to the back where I'm standing and gets down to start pushing. I'm like, whoa, you need to be up there with the steering wheel. He's like, what? I said, you need to be up there with the steering wheel. He comes back and he looks down the side of the car and he goes, the wheels are straight. I said, but you got to make a right turn into that parking lot over there. Oh, okay. So then he comes around, gets the steering wheel and kind of cants it just a little bit to where the vehicle kind of veer off. And then he starts to come back. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I was going to push. I said, push from the door with the steering wheel so you can steer. He goes, oh man, that's right. All right. So he and I start pushing. Then the other stupid thing is he starts veering into the other lane. I said, hey man, don't veer in the other lane. We're going to get hit by traffic. Well, then he cuts it back. Then the vehicle's going back this way. So he cuts it back left and he starts going. I said, hey man, you're going into the other lane again. He's like, well, I'm worried about hitting the curb. I'm like, I'm worried about getting hit by a car. What the hell? So then this is the cap on all of it, which I know I'm kind of a big guy, but after we get him turned into the parking lot, there's kind of a little bit of a downhill. So I just kind of push, let him go. He hops in, steers it into the parking lot. And he's like, man, he's like, you must be the strongest person I know. I ain't never seen anybody do like that. And I'm like, there's this thing called a wheel. It's round and it rolls. And then we were on a downgrade. I'm just like, what? I'm like, what are they teaching these kids in school? Gravity should be one of the things they're teaching in school. Momentum. I mean, good night. And that is the future that you all have to look forward to. Someone who can't push a car off the roadway. Thank you. Yes. What would you have done, Bill?
You don't want to know.
It's amazing. It just seems like they're getting worse. They're not getting any better.
I know.
Oh man. But I think that's gonna be it for us this week,
Well,
Bill.
we got one more thing to throw out there.
What you got?
And one thing that's affected us all this week. Gas.
Oh man.
Just don't put your gas in a plastic bag. Okay. I mean, how many reports have we seen this week where people have tried to fill up plastic bags with gas?
Somebody blew up their car.
Blew up their car. That was okay. It's just God. Don't do it. I mean, come on. What is 5 gallons of gas going to do for you anyway? I mean, put the gas in your car and go on. And when you need more, go back and get more. It's not going away.
No.
Now, it just, I mean, okay. I've seen at least 15 pictures that people's posted watching people try to fill up plastic bags with gas. Everything from Walmart bags to big hefty garbage bags to, I mean, no, don't do it.
Because the gasoline eats through the plastic. Bill, when I was about 10 years old, I learned that lesson. Of course, I'm a farm boy and I've been out on the farm. What I was doing was there was a wasp nest. I was probably about maybe 12. There was a wasp nest, and I had seen my dad take gasoline, throw it on the wasp nest, and of course it kills the wasp. Well, I had that same idea, but I had a styrofoam cup. So I put gas in it, and about halfway to the walk between there and there, the bottom dropped out of it. So I kind of learned that lesson early on, and it was something I would think everybody knew, but okay.
Yeah, this past week we witnessed toilet paper 2.0. You know,
And now gas is back.
yeah.
I mean, we weren't affected here in Kentucky, really.
We were, if you've listened to half the people that were filling up plastic bags.
Jeez. Oh gosh.
But anyway, people don't do it.
No, but try to think. I mean, just think. That's all you really got to do is use that engine between your ears, start it up, and actually let it work a little bit. But
That's about all I got.
Yeah. Any final words, Bill, other than just tell people to think?
Just don't do it.
Well,
I did want to say in a few weeks, how many weeks is it till Memorial Day?
a week and a half.
Week and a half, 2 weeks? We're going to go out. We're probably going to try to do a live show on Memorial Day. And our hopes are to be at Mill Springs National Cemetery doing our yeah, I know, it just keeps going on. Doing our show from the National Cemetery here to honor our war dead on Memorial Day. So
That'd be great.
tune in for that.
Yep, y'all look out for that. Other thing, guys, see this video on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Like us, subscribe, share the video with friends. We've got several videos out, plenty to pick from. We're still on Spreely. We're at BCMM on Facebook. Older episodes are on Spotify. We've got our website, bluecollarminutemen.com. And don't forget to email us if you have any questions, comments about the show, things you'd like to see, things you'd like to see done better. Let us hear those. We want some feedback. You can email us at blucollarminutemen@gmail.com. That's BLU@gmail.com. And let us know what you think, how we're doing, anything, whether it's good, bad. If you're a Democrat and you want to bash us, we'll talk about you on the show.
Also, Rumble.
Rumble, almost forgot.
If you don't like YouTube, we're on Rumble.
Yep. And Bill, I will say this one thing I forgot this week. I forgot to check out, Trump's new tweet site. I didn't get to it. What was it called? Trumpster? Or?
Yeah, Trumpster.
Trump. Yeah. And then, of course, you got Mike Lindell's TV network. What is it?
Frank
TV.
Frank Speech.
Frank Speech, yes. So you all check those out too. I mean, that's all I got here. Bill, anything else?
Just hunker down and hang on.
Yep, and hopefully 4th of July is going to be a good 4th of July, I'm hoping. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Independence.
God bless you all. God bless America.
God bless.